A 9-year-old lives through a harrowing weekend, trapped inside a wrecked car. We get all the facts on her incredible ordeal. Good evening, I'm Wesco Forth.
And I'm Valentina Wilson. Welcome to News Channel 12 at 5. It is an incredible story of survival. A car wreck traps a 9-year-old girl next to her deceased father. She had only Pop-Tarts and Gatorade to keep her alive.
I'm walking down 55 and there's a car laying on the side in a ditch, and I'm trying to figure out whether anybody knew about it or not.
The wreck happened between Jasper and Cove City Friday night. It took 2 days before a passerby found that overturned car. News Channel 12's Katie Jeffries begins our team coverage on this touching survival story.
Well, on Friday, 9-year-old Jordan Landon and her father Doug went on a quick trip to the store. But it was 2 days before the pair was found in an overturned car. Doug was dead, but Jordan had survived on Pop-Tarts and Gatorade, waiting for help. A car accident turns into a battle for survival. Our cameras capture rescuers surrounding Doug Landon's overturned car. He's dead inside, but his 9-year-old daughter Jordan is alive.
And she said she tried to dig her way out too, but she couldn't. She said she was pinned underneath the car.
Pinned literally upside down by her seatbelt. The only food Jordan had was Pop-Tarts and Gatorade the pair bought at a local store. A surveillance camera in the Jasper Mini Mart captured some of their final moments together. They had their Pop-Tarts and Gatorade, and they sat down at this table for several minutes where they talked and played scratch-off tickets before they finally took their things and left. When they didn't come home, Jordan's mother, now sick with grief, went looking for the two. In the process of searching, she even crashed her white truck into a ditch less than 100 feet from where Jordan was pinned in the car.
I'm sure Jordan could hear the sirens and everything and hear the police talking on the radio, and she was sitting right there.
No one saw this car until Sunday night when a passerby called it in. Troopers say Doug was going over 100 miles per hour, but family and friends of Doug say they don't believe it.
He wasn't speeding. There's no way on God's green earth he was speeding.
Family friends say even in Doug's final moments of life, he was trying to protect Jordan when the car crashed.
He was holding the ball with one arm like this right here and the other arm pushed out to where, and yeah, he was trying to hold her and trying to keep her protected. He was a good father.
A father whose brave little girl found strength to survive. Now, Jordan's mother told me that Jordan is okay. She only had some scratches and some cuts, but emotionally she is very upset that she has lost her father. And Jordan's mom was adamant that her father would not have been reckless. He would not have sped with his daughter in the car. Now, Highway Patrol has sent a trooper up to the hospital to talk to Jordan to see if she can offer any insight on the moments leading up to the crash. For now, we are live in the newsroom. Katie Jeffries, News Channel 12.
Great details there, Katie. And Jordan's relatives tell us tonight they expect her to be released from the hospital soon.
News Channel 12 has also learned the father and daughter left a convenience store not far from their house just minutes before the crash. The wreck happened very close to the family's home near the corner of Highway 55 and Turkey Quarter Creek Road. Douglas and Jordan Landon had just visited the Jasper Mini Mart there at the bottom of your screen. News Channel 12's Jamie McCutcheon continues our team coverage. She has details now on their last minutes together.
Val, that Jasper Mini Mart is just 2 miles from where the crash happened. Jordan and her father stopped there Friday night before heading home, and in that time, we get a look at the love and the everyday last moments between daddy and daughter.
He's a very nice person. I mean, he don't really say much. He get what he want and leave.
But store owner Haram Hagib tells us on Friday night, Douglas Landon and his daughter Jordan were in no hurry to leave the Jasper Mini Mart. The two shopped and hung out at the Mini Mart for almost a half hour. At one point, the store's camera catches Jordan brushing something off of her father, as only someone like a daughter would do. In another moment, we see Jordan alone reading a newspaper. Then Douglas Landon is standing at the register, paying for a counter full of items. Jordan walks over to help her dad with the 3 bags. The two have a seat and spend several minutes scratching off lotto tickets together. At one point, Doug Landon twice lowers his head, and twice Jordan playfully taps her dad on the brim of his hat. The two get up a few moments later. It's then the camera catches a moment perhaps Jordan will always remember. The little girl walks up and hugs her dad, leaning on him for several moments. Daddy and daughter then leave the store, carrying their bags that held the Pop-Tarts and Gatorade Jordan would survive on during her 44 hours trapped inside their wrecked car. While those items would help sustain her, store owner Hadim Hagib believes that's not what saved the little girl.
A strap and a seatbelt hanging upside down in the car for almost 3 days. I think that's God's miracle. I mean, it can't be my Pop-Tart or my Gatorade. It has to be God's miracle.
And we know the family is so thankful for that miracle tonight that 9-year-old Jordan survived the crash. That crash site is just 2 miles again from the Jasper Mini Mart and just a half a mile from the family's home. Val?
A very touching story tonight, Jamie, and thank you for those images as well.
A father and daughter finally discovered. Their car crushed and flipped at the bottom of a drainage ditch. But this scene is close to a highway and dozens of homes. So why did nobody see them?
It was devastating just knowing that we all drive by that, and all it took was a jogger just to see it.
Eli Gonzalez is a friend of Jordan Landon, the lone survivor of the crash.
We all had a guilty conscience just thinking, why didn't we go look for him? Why didn't we do this?
We went back to the accident site and down into the ditch, still littered with parts of the car, even the rearview mirror. If you look up, you can barely see cars passing by. And if you didn't know to look here, you'd never have seen a car below.
So we decided to travel down 55 at night to see if there was any way that you could see that car in the ditch. And it's right over my shoulder here, and all you can see, pitch black.
Meanwhile, we're seeing a new development to the story. Eli tells us Doug Landon had a long, rough day on Friday. In this surveillance video, you can see Doug struggling to stay awake. And now troopers tell me they're looking into the possibility of fatigue being a factor in the crash.
After work, he went home and was replacing a floor for where his washer and dryer are, and I knew that kind of made him extra tired.
But he says if there's one person who could have made it through the wreck, Eli says it's Jordan.
She's a very strong individual. She's a people-loving person.
Only 9-year-old Jordan knows exactly what happened in the moments before the crash that stranded her for days in this wrecked Monte Carlo. Her mother asked her about those moments.
I asked Jordan, was Daddy driving fast? She said, no, Mommy, Daddy wasn't driving fast.
Sissy Leoman asked her daughter because the highway patrol says Doug Landon was driving over 100 miles per hour. She doesn't believe it.
She thinks his back right tire blew, and that's what caused the accident. You can see a hole in it right here, and the tow truck driver says that a blown tire could look just like that.
Leoman's looked at that rubber. She's looked at this crumpled car. But beyond those objects, she's now looking at the rest of her life without her partner of 22 years.
I don't know how to go on without him. I don't know how to get up without him.
She struggled during our interview.
Are you okay?
People by her side say she's been up for 4 days.
I don't know how to be a widow. I don't know how to be okay. I don't know how to make my children okay.
We first brought you the rescue. Now this is the reconstruction. Flashing lights are once again on NC 55, and this time it's for the investigation. These 4 troopers are looking at everything from the tire marks to the car and even the landscape. An investigator told me that these snap trees show the path where the car went airborne. Since this story broke on Sunday, speed has been at the forefront.
The preliminary investigation showed that Doug Landon's vehicle was going over 100 miles per hour when it crashed. Now, these flags show where the car first started to go off of the road, but less than 100 yards down the way is where he would have had to have turned in to go to his home.
So why would he be speeding? Or was he even speeding at all? Those are questions these investigators are hoping to answer. Friends of Doug have told us over and over they just don't buy that he was speeding.
He wasn't speeding. There's no way on God's green earth he was speeding.
The speedometer is frozen at 110 miles an hour on this crushed Monte Carlo, and these investigators say that is not a determining factor. They snap photos, crunch the numbers,
911,
and study the scene until they get an answer to this question. How did this car wind up overturned with one man who lost his life and a little girl trapped inside for 2 days?